Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by Arrowhead Mountain Spring Water. Chris McGee, Big Game James, Mike Bresnan. We have Mike Trudell down at Crypto.com Arena. The Lakers snapped their season-long 4-game losing streak against the Phoenix Suns, and the key was getting some healthy bodies back. Jackson Hayes was back, and he was huge. You got Dorian Finney-Smith back, Gabe Vincent and Luka, who missed one game, back in the lineup, and it was basically a wire-to-wire, very convincing win for the Lakers.
Yeah, it's good to know that the Lakers, can miss a player or two. And when you get guys like, Hayes back and Vinny Smith, get some guys back, that they can play well and win. And that's what we saw tonight. Phoenix didn't shoot the ball well. They hit, 24 threes the other night or so, and only, 9 tonight.
Yeah.
And then the Lakers did well from the free throw line. And, they got some collective help from guys. I thought Hayes' existence right away, having him back right away, you can see his impact on his scoring ability, his defense, his presence. And so it's nice to get some guys back. Nice to get back on the winning side at home against a dangerous team that didn't shoot the ball well at all. And some of that had to do with defense and playing good on that end. And some of it just had to do, they just had a poor shooting night.
Yeah.
And it was to our favor.
Yeah, we had a good graphic on the pregame show showing the Lakers 0-4 over the last 4 without Jackson Hayes, and he's a big part of this team. People forget about it, Geet. Okay, when Jackson's hurt, you either have guys like, Koloko and Trey Jemison, not a lot of experience there, or Alex Len towards the end of his career. So after Jackson Hayes, there's just not a lot of depth at the center position, and we all knew that would be the case once the trade deadline ended, and that was it for the Lakers. They got the trade rescinded. Hayes has to stay healthy. And how happy is Luka Doncic having that lob threat back out there? No disrespect to Koloko or Jemison, but Hayes is he's the guy with the vertical. He's the guy with the length. He's got that good nose around the basket for that ball.
You've seen what a rim runner, great athlete, long, big can do with a Luka Doncic. It got to the finals in Dallas. Obviously, Kyrie and Luka have a lot to do with that, but when you pair those type of players with Luka, those guys thrive. You're seeing it with Jackson Hayes. And by the way, since January 30th, this team is 15-2 with Jackson Hayes in the starting lineup.
Yes.
They're 0-4 without him.
Yeah.
That's called an X Factor guy.
X Factor.
This is not an 0-4 trip if he's healthy.
X Factor and then Pactor. He'd be on my list every game because he does it on both ends. On the offensive end, for a passer, it's one thing to try to make a little pocket pass or try to make a little pass directly. When you have a player that you can go over the top, it's an outlet. Any passer will tell you that if you can get it up there, it's an easy pass to make. Hayes does that. Defensively, if you bring it to the rim softly, he's going to come and get it. He's not the AD, but he is a guy that will alter your shots, and he's there. And I've seen him meet you at the rim. And the energy that he brings, I'm sure other coaches in the locker room saying, look, don't take him for granted. You got to match his energy, because if you don't, he's going to be effective.
Also a lot tougher than I think people give him credit for. He's not afraid of physicality. Let's go back downtown. Austin Reaves with Mike Trudell.
All right, Austin, I know it was very important for you to come off of that difficult trip, down so many bodies, to find a way to get a victory. But what was the biggest reason today?
We fought. We played a really good first half. I think we were up 17.5. Not so good third quarter. And then you just got to, when things kind of get a little, out of rhythm out there, you kind of just got to figure out how to get away with a win. And we needed that one going 0-4 on the trip. So it's good to get a win. Hopefully we can get back on the right side of, playing good basketball. So first half was really good. Could have been better second half, but, it's just the game.
I know you missed Jackson Hayes. What was it like having him back as that lob threat and all the other things that he does?
Yeah, me and Jackson are usually not very nice to each other. Joke around all the time, tell him I don't like him. But, God, it was good to get him back. Just his energy, his effort, his presence in the pocket, like you said, lob threat. It gives Luka, basically, when he has a really good lob threat, it's almost impossible to guard him because he looks off the low man so well. So, Jax, this is the first and only time.
President!
It's the first and only time I'll say something positive about you.
I won't tell him the positive stuff that you said, and especially since he came and said something nice there, you're almost winning on top of that, right? So, yeah, that's a good job there.
We'll get back to telling each other we hate each other in a second, so, yeah, it's good to see him back.
Last one for you. You spent so much time, of course, on the court with LeBron and got to know how to play with him. How are you getting to know Luka, and what kind of rhythm are you two coming into?
Just, that on-court chemistry is a real thing. Anytime that you can, log more minutes together, you're going to figure out, how to play with one another. He got me an unbelievable look there the last, minute, 45 seconds. Yeah. I was pissed I missed that one. So, when you play with him, you're going to get good looks. He draws so much attention. So, shout out to him. He played a hell of a game tonight. All right, go get some ice packs. Appreciate you. I need them.
Go get good stuff there from Mike Trudell and Austin Reaves. This is the last 3 games, guys. He went for 28, 37, and 28. That is a 31-point average and 44% from 3, 7 rebounds and 7.3 assists. And I laugh because, when LeBron James is out, you're never going to make up for what he does. But what a luxury to have your third guy be someone like Austin Reaves that can really fit with any lineup. And if Luka's out, he becomes the A. And he's getting used to being that role as well. And when LeBron comes back, he plays the 3 just fine. It's pretty incredible, big game. And his passing and his handles, Richard Jefferson was talking about it the entire broadcast, really have gone to another level.
We have 3 A's. LeBron with his age and experience. Luka with his youth and his, legend already where he has to go. They're 2 Magic Johnsons. This is our A2. He's an A because he does things that those 2 don't do on the defensive end. When he has the ball in his hands, I'd bet you that he draws more fouls and gets to the line. He has a better floater, I think, than those 2 guys. So we're very fortunate. When LeBron and Luka were out, we almost beat the Denver Nuggets behind his play. So he does the same things. He scores. He gets other people in. Maybe not a better passer, maybe in that category, but he still can pass. But he's a major threat. You cannot go to sleep when LeBron and or Luka are out, and he's has the ability to handle the ball and do what he does. He's to me, he's Pistol Pete Reaves.
You bring up such a great point. I mean, he's an elite passer, but he's the 3rd best passer on this team. Mm-hmm. But also, LeBron and Luka have such physical gifts. You're right, they're in the Magic Johnson tier. So it's almost unfair to Austin, but he is a great passer as well.
Yeah, he is. It gets lost in the shuffle. He's a shooting guard who kind of wants to be a point guard, some of the time. So that's a fun part of his game for sure. And Guy, we've had this fun discussion in the newsroom for about a month now. Is he the 3rd best? Is he the best 3rd player on any NBA team? I mean, his case is rising. Got some good players in Boston after Jaylen Brown and, of course, Jason Tatum. Got some good players in Cleveland. Maybe Mobley's at 3rd best player.
You're talking about the best teams in the league, right? That means you're a great team.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
OKC. You got your top 2. Then is it Holmgren, who comes after him? I don't know. Austin Reaves absolutely stating a case as being one of the best number 3 options in the NBA. And I'll tell you what, and a great guy. Always loved talking to him. And on a very equitable deal. He was happy to sign it a couple years ago, and the Lakers locked him up for 4 years. It's great all around.
Brett said it when we were watching the game. He's like, that might be the best contract in the NBA. I mean, when you look at it now, for $12 million a year, what he's going to be making at some point, it's pretty incredible.
Good for him.
Okay, guys, let's focus on Luka. We had said, in the 2 games without LeBron, they were 0-2, and this was a game that they desperately needed. Luka has a history with the Suns. I think that's what Laker fans love about Luka. He's got a history with a lot of the teams that Laker fans have history with. And he just, he loves these moments. But just I feel like the poise that he had coming in tonight, James, the way he played, he got to the line, he got the calls tonight. He was 13 of 14 from the free throw line, just in control. The assists, he ended up with 33, 11, and 8. Par for him, but in a game that they absolutely had to have.
And 4 turnovers, to me, it's like 2 turnovers for somebody who handles the ball as much as he does in traffic. So I thought he was good in that category as well, taking care of the basketball and not giving up too many opportunities for Phoenix. But, yeah, each game, Geeter, he's getting more comfortable in his role with this team. probably, getting more comfortable, waking up in Los Angeles to, snow-capped mountains and the beach and the sun. He's getting used to all of that. You know what I'm saying? And his play is indicative of that. Probably getting some good, fresh sushi, not that Texas sushi, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's enjoying, being on this team with LeBron. And I think, playing with LeBron has to be like an amazing, thing to do. But Luka's a team dude.
He is.
He's a team guy, man. Like, he enjoys getting Koloko involved. He enjoys just making a pass and seeing that part of it, because I think that's part of his history. Being on a team at 14 years old and seeing all that. He brings a lot of positivity and, warmth to a team when he's out there on the floor.
I think that's why he and Kyrie instantly were able to get that team to the finals. Like, you don't give him enough credit for his ability to be such a good team guy. I watched he and Austin Reaves, Brez, and they are awesome together in the way they interact on the court.
Really?
You're at games, you see it too.
Yeah, really having fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice after, a week where they didn't win. I mean, when you're on a 4-game losing streak, you need to win.
Yeah.
Even if it's against a really bizarre Phoenix team. After watching them for the last couple hours, I'm still not quite sure what they are. And they lost Bradley Beal to a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
So it's pretty confident on the pregame show they were going to get into the play-in tournament, but once you watch them, it's like, what's happening?
It's easy. Sometimes it's easy to win with talent, and the chemistry's not good, or the vibe's not good in the locker room, because when you come up with this kind of inconsistency, when you got Durant and Booker, you can win some games.
Good start.
But when it gets to the meat of it, sometimes it's the chemistry, the locker room. Something's not cooking down there.
I still feel they're going to get to the 10 just because Dallas has got nothing left in their only cup. So
Also, Reaves would be a very nice number 3.
They didn't look like they wanted to get to the 10. It just doesn't seem like they're playing with that much. Let's hear from J.J. Redick. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
JJ, how did you think you, as a team, kind of established control early and sustained it throughout the game?
I just think it is very abnormal for a team to come back from an East Coast trip and that next game, a day after the trip, come out with more energy than the other team and play harder than the other team. On top of that, we had a back-to-back, and we lost a crushing game on Friday night. Our locker room, that was dispiriting to lose that game. It was disheartening. And for our guys to come back with an early start and be the harder playing team from the beginning, that to me says everything about our group. On top of that, this was such a different game than anything we played recently, and it was particularly like polar opposites of the Denver game in terms of game plan, in terms of what we were trying to get offensively. It was just two very different games, and they were able to execute in Denver. They were able to execute tonight. Helped that Luka, Doe, Gabe, Jackson was awesome having those guys back. But again, just the transition from one thing to the next, coming off 4 losses, our group was phenomenal.
Was there a player or two that you thought symbolized that earlier, or was it really more of a group thing?
No, I'll say this. Never judge a player based solely on his box score. Jordan Goodwin was incredible tonight, and he had 2 points and 4 fouls. He set the tone for us. And they're an incredibly difficult team to guard. Our guys executed what we wanted to do. They took the shots we were willing to live with. And him and Doe, everybody had turns because we read it a lot today, but him and Doe set the tone on Book and KD. And, those guys make tough shots, and we had to try something to make it hard for them, and those 2 guys set the tone.
You laid out all the elements for us going into this one. And with that as the kind of setting the table, you held the Suns to 6 for 22 in the first quarter. What about your defense was working at such a high level to hold them to 20%?
Yeah, I mean, it started with our physicality and just making catches tough, and then we were shifting off the right guys. I would have to ask Wiv, but our contest rate in that first quarter, because they're really good, and they were able to get us in the blender a couple times, and they were able to get open looks. Our contest rate was really high. There was one, right in front of me. I was at the scores table with Royce O'Neal that I just like that he's not making that shot. And he's on our laser board. He's a phenomenal shooter, but the contest was so good. And I think that was huge. So we had the physicality, so we were making it tough for them to generate the shots, and then when they generated the shots, we had great contests.
JJ, I think a lot of times when people judge players, they tend to focus on the things that they don't do, but I'm curious, how have you guys optimized the way Jackson is able to obviously be a vertical threat on offense, but the way he's able to also kind of fly around on defense and get involved in your switches and be part of kind of the havoc that you guys are creating there?
Look, I think I said this during the win streak at some point. I think where his growth has been this year is just his cognitive load to go from one thing to the next, the mental bandwidth to do a number of different things on a possession, to be able to oscillate between coverages and Redding. When they went to the fire late, or they had gone to it a bunch, but he hadn't been on the floor, and then when they went to the fire late, he got to the foul line, made himself available. Doe gets the wide open corner three that kind of gives us the cushion to win the game. It's just like little stuff like that where he's, the stats are going up, but it's being able to make one play after another, and really think the game that I think his biggest area of growth is. And then, playing with Luka has been awesome for him.
Kind of a two.
He's got an eye over there somewhere, too. He's got three of them.
The third one. Luka finished 2 assists shy of a triple-double. He's now speaking with Mike in the media.
Hey, Luka, JJ mentioned that he was impressed with the team's kind of energy coming off a long trip, a back-to-back, an emotional loss. Those things can be tricky in the NBA. Where did you think that came from the player's standpoint to start the game tonight, or today?
We knew we had to do better. We knew we have to be more physical, first of all. And I think our defense was amazing today from the start to finish.
We know some of the stats about you going against Phoenix, and only Jordan averages more points. Do you still think back to the draft, or are you well past that and you just like playing against any team?
No, I don't. That's a long time ago, 7 years ago. So I'm not thinking about that no more. I just get ready for every game, trying to play good and win.
Luka, how much did you guys miss Jackson, and you in particular, but with your connection with him, with the lobs and in the pick and roll? How good was it, to have him back?
Well, you can see it. You can see the difference. For me, it helps me a lot, but he helps the whole team. Just getting block shots, take rebounds, roll. He can do a lot of things, and we miss him for sure.
Look, we know how rough that trip was in terms of your guys' record, and some guys fly back home to get treatment. And in Denver, you and a couple guys weren't able to give it a go. What did you see from the group that did play against the Nuggets, and did that give you any sort of insight as to the type of group that you're involved with?
Yeah, they gave us, how would I say, just to see what we have to do next game. Play like them, me, Gabe, and Doe were out, but we knew what we had to do, and we need to be more physical, so they showed us the way from that game.
Hey, Luka, you hear entertainers talk a lot about how they have an alter ego on stage and off stage. It feels like from the small amount of time we've gotten to know you a little bit, you're pretty quiet and low-key when you're not on the court. Would you say you have an alter ego on the court, and do you remember when that originated, or has that always been the case?
Oh, yeah, I would say I'm quiet off the court. Totally different. Basketball is what I do, so gets me hyped, gets me happy, so there's an obvious change in my off court and on the court, but I don't know when it started, honestly.
Luka, še eno vprašanje v slovenščini. Kako pomembno je bilo danes prekiniti ta manjši negativen niz porazov?
Zelo pomembno. Mi smo oko 4 zapore smo izgubili, bili smo na drugem mestu, tako da zelo pomembno je sploh po taki ekipi, ki je lahko zmer neugodna, tako da je bilo zelo pomembno tudi danes, da smo zmagali.
Še eno vprašanje, kako si se ujel z JJ-jem kot trenerjem? Vem, da sta bila soigralca prej. Kako je delo za tajega trenerja, ki je zelo into the game, zelo vokalen in tako naprej?
Super. Nimam kje reči. Zmer, veliko se pogovarjava, tudi ni sam tekma, tako da zaenkrat je super z njim.
Luka, ¿qué aprendizaje les dejó el viaje como grupo y cómo se sintió estar de regreso en casa y regresar al triunfo?
Sí, era bastante viaje, ha sido muy duro. No hemos ganado un partido, así que ha sido un viaje muy malo. Pero regresar a casa ha sido bonito. Sobre todo todos han podido ver a su familia, estar en casa un poco. Eso nos ha dado, creo que un poco más para ganar este partido.
Luka, ¿cómo te has sentido ante la ausencia de LeBron siendo el líder de los Lakers en estos partidos, especialmente hoy con la victoria?
¿Bueno?
Ante la ausencia de LeBron, ¿cómo te has sentido siendo el líder de los Lakers en estos partidos?
Bien. Creo que bien. Creo que en un buen equipo no solo hay un líder, hay muchos diferentes aspectos. Pero bien, intentamos ganar cada partido. Obviamente el viaje no ha sido bueno, pero estamos volviendo a nuestro nivel.
Hey, Luka. You've had more than 30 points here, 5 of 6. How's your rhythm? How are you feeling physically in terms of kind of that long layoff? And are you starting to feel kind of closer to your normal sort of level of standard and level of play?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm getting there. But like I always say, every day I'm feeling better. Physically, I got my knee a little hyperextended in my ankle again, but I'm good.
Luka, el equipo está jugando mejor desde que tú llegaste, con más alegría. Se entienden mucho contigo. ¿Lo sientes así? Sobre todo Hayes está feliz jugando contigo, encontrando la canasta en el lugar apropiado.
Sí, creo que antes de que yo llegara también han jugado muy bien, han jugado todos juntos. Cuando yo llegué solo quería meterme en eso y jugar como ellos. Y creo que estamos haciendo cosas muy bien y tenemos que seguir así.
Thank you, Luka.
Thank you.